What's happening, everybody? You are at another episode of Pickles House. I'm excited for this one today. I got a real good friend of mine here. This guy is an example of how to grind in the scene and how to make right moves. And whenever you work hard, it shows, and it like gets you into doors that you normally wouldn't be able to walk through. Very hardworking dude. I love him to death. And I've been watching him since the beginning, since I started, So I'm happy to announce my good buddy, Alex Cureau here at Pickles House today.
Hey, man. Hey, all right. Woo, 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 woo. That's very nice intro.
No problem.
Thank you. Best friends. I don't know if we're best friends.
I didn't say best friends. I didn't say best friends.
Hold on. I got to pop open this White Claw.
Pop over the White Claw.
Oh, the cap is broken. Son of a bitch, White Claw. I was going to drink your... All right, there we go. I'm trying not to cut my fucking finger open.
White Claw, don't cut your finger open.
White Claw, Red Claw.
It's a Red Claw.
All right.
White Claw.
Product placement. Kablow.
You might
wow,
get
that's a
little...
good flavor. Iced tea raspberry, only 5% alcohol, gluten-free. These things are crazy. I mean, White Claw. White Claw.
Starting early with a White Claw.
Let's name the podcast. Definitely not sponsored by White Claw.
No.
But what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Man,
this is
thank
cool.
you.
Look at this space.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Have you given any love to Grim in the booth?
Yeah,
like
we
people
always
know?
look. Shout out to Grim. Yeah, thank you, Grim. People do know. Grim is the man.
Grim's doing it.
I love
this.
Grim.
This is the only space in New Orleans like this for comics, so it's really great.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
This is like a revolutionary standpoint for
also
Louisiana.
Way nicer than your actual house.
Yeah, it is.
Great.
It is. I want to do like a wall of pickle people right here. We're gonna
like Pickle Rick and shit.
Not Pickle Rick, but like pickle people. I guess people can dress up Pickle Rick. We can throw a Pickle
like
Rick
when you say
back there.
pickle people, you mean like, is that what you're gonna call your fan base? I'm a pickle people.
You're a pickle person.
You're a pickle person.
You're a pickle pickle. Pick a pack of pickle peppers.
Yeah, you want to fucking. I was gonna make a joke about your pickle in the green room because it's green. It's pickle.
Yeah.
I just couldn't think of one on the fly because I'm not good at limericks. I don't know. But what's up, man? Yeah, thanks for having me. That's the fourth time I've said it.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming in, dude. I know you're a busy guy nowadays. Let's talk about let's talk about the beginning, though. I like to let people get to know who the comics are and the artists are that come on this show, because we have a bunch of arty people in Louisiana and
arty people.
Artsy people.
Artsy, yeah.
Nice but comics are
autistic.
Autistic. This is a great example of autistic right in this room right now. No, that's a joke. But Alex.
Unprofessional.
Yeah, you heard that over there. Jesus Christ. Jesus.
My bad.
Shout out to Graham. What's
up?
Yeah. Let's see. Where are you from originally?
Oh, you just want me to do my act?
Where'd you know? Where you grew up? Where'd you grow up?
So my family's actually from Araby. So right where we're at right now, and then
right where the tornadoes just happened.
Right where the two. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. That doesn't make me feel bad at all. No, and then I grew up in Bayou Liberty, like the North Shore, so Slidell.
Okay.
Not really Slidell, like just, North Shore, Louisiana. Not Baton Rouge. Bayou Liberty. My first pet was ringworm.
Oh shit.
Really nice. But yeah, man, I grew up there.
I think everybody's first pet was a wingworm.
Wingworm.
That's what I said. That's how I say it, wingworm.
Wingworm. Yeah. But I don't know. I just remember. I think I still have it. It doesn't go away.
Yeah, it's horrible.
If it does go away, please help.
You just
I put a cream on it every day. It's like that. It's like I'm feeding it. It gets bigger. I'm like, this is not working. I don't know what's happening.
First pet of wingworm.
Wingworm, dude. If you say, it's gonna infuriate me. You keep saying it like that.
It was the wingworm.
Wingworm. Ugh. I loved his podcast, but he kept talking weird. But are we gonna talk about where I'm from?
Yeah, well,
let's get into some comedy, man.
We can get into comedy or whatever. I'm just trying to let people know who you are.
Got it.
So North Shore, you grew up. What schools you went to?
Man, I just. I don't give a fuck about this. Who gives a fuck about this? No one gives a fuck about where I went to school.
You never know.
I Slidell High. Went to Slidell High. Played football. Played college football.
You might be an inspiration to somebody in Slidell High.
Dude, there was a time.
Get a picture of that fucking bald head.
Dude, there's only one person from Slidell High I still talk to, a good friend of mine named Michael Daigle. And he's the only person, but there's a teacher. Like, do you remember teachers that you had? I have a teacher. Oh, I'm fixing it. I had a teacher that growing up in high school was the only one that was on my side. I got expelled from high school.
Yeah.
Because during GE testing week, I knew I was never good in class. I hated homework. I hated doing class and shit. So I was always just like.
You look like the kid who had a mustache.
I consistently was a C student, and it's just because I was like, I knew what I had to do, like just to leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm doing the work, but I would not turn shit in all the time. Hated school. School was not. It didn't fail me, but I just was not for me.
You were good with girls?
No, dude. But there's one teacher, Mr. Osborne, who he's one of the only reasons I got into college. So because he wrote me a really nice letter of recommendation that when I read, it was the first time as like a kid I had cried because of another man.
Oh.
But it was just so nice. It was so sweet. It was the first time I'd ever seen anybody legitimately put into words like how I was. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Everybody else always been like he's just they were kids like give him ADHD medicine, all this kind of shit. He was the first person I remember like reading what he wrote and being like, yeah, like it was very emotional for me in that moment. So Mr. Osborne is a guy that if I ever do end up back at Slidell, like just for whatever reason, he's the first person. I'm like, where's he at? Where's he? They'll be like, he died of a drug overdose. It's crazy. Yeah, that guy killed himself. That would be wild. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, he was a huge piece of shit. Actually, he was a pedophile. It was weird. No, but he was really great. He's one of that letter of recommendation is one of the only reasons I got into college. But also,
nice.
But so I was always good at testing though, like standardized tests. I would always I got a 26 on my ACT with 2 hours of sleep and a hammer drunk. As a 17-year-old kid, literally walked to De La Salle in New Orleans to go do it. Hammer drunk, walked 2 miles, got there sweaty, was late, and I got a 26. So I've always just been good at that stuff. And that's the other reason I got into college. But I got expelled.
I took my ACT and I dropped out. That was literally the last thing I did in high school was take the test, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm dropping out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I dropped out because I was a drug dealer. And
oh, yeah, and then you were making good money?
Well, I almost got caught doing it in school. I was buying an ounce of weed, and I saw that I had a hoodie.
What a shitty drug dealer. You got caught getting dealt drugs.
I was reeing up, dude. I was reeing up.
Yeah.
I was reeing up.
But you were good at this.
One of the gym coach, I saw him and he hated me. And I had a hoodie.
Dude.
I had a hoodie on, and you're not supposed to wear hoodies in John Ehret. So you
went to John Ehret?
I went to John Ehret.
When did you graduate?
I didn't. I just told you.
I didn't graduate either. When would you have graduated?
I think it was 2005. What I would have.
Oh, I forget you're older. I figure you're that much older than me.
Yeah, I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
But I got my GED from Delgado in 2008.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration.
Let's listen to this story before.
What'd you get it in?
My GED?
No, your fucking Delgado degree.
GED.
You got a GED from Delgado?
Yes.
But that's a whole nother level. That you went to like junior college. How do you get a GED from a college, bro? What?
I took 5 semesters after that, and I went to jail. That's how I ended up going to jail.
Yeah, dude.
But this is how I dropped out of high school. I had a CD player and I had an ounce of weed, and I was like, "Fuck, this dude's gonna take my hoodie."
CD player, you are old as shit, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, this dude's gonna take my hoodie. So I'm fucking walking up, and I said,
"Oh, the gym teacher."
The gym teacher. So I put the CD player in my right hand and the weed in my left, and I like saw him, and I kind of made a turn and made it look like I'm putting something in my back pocket, which I slipped my CD and my CD player in my back pocket in the right one. But then at the same time, I was slipping an ounce of weed in my left back pocket. So he saw the CD player. He was like, "Give me the hoodie and what you got in your back pocket." I said, "CD player."
Nice.
And he goes,
"Slick, dude."
Yeah, he was like, "All right, give that to me. You got to get your parent to come and
what
get
CD
this
did you
shit."
have in it?
Shoot, it might have been Nas. I was a Nas kid
Oh,
back then.
dude.
It might have been Nas.
Oh, that goes hard, dude.
You remember it was like the Nas and Jay-Z?
Everybody Get Down, dude.
The
Yeah.
Nas and Jay-Z feud.
That's the only Nas song I know.
You remember that, though?
No, I'm a softie, dude. I listen to like folk music.
Yeah.
Like I'm not one of these guys that comes out to like I come out to like jazz.
Yeah.
That's what I go out on stage to.
I like that.
Yeah. So no, people are like, you like Nas? I'm like, I know one song by Nas. I also know he's incredible.
Yeah.
I know what he looks like. I try to make sure I know what all these people look like.
Yeah.
I mean, all artists, not these people. I didn't mean these people. I try to like understand what all rappers are like, big music artists or big like, because that way when people are like, yeah, you know this person, I just go, yeah, that's this person.
I know their name
and then
at
that
least.
gets me out. They're like, okay, cool, you're cool, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, I am. I am hello, fellow kids. I'm very cool.
So after he took my hoodie and my CD player, he was like, "Go to class," and I just left campus and went home.
That was it for you,
That was it for me. I hit my dad up and was like, "We need to go back to school because today is the day I drop out."
bro.
And I became a bus boy at Outback and a drug dealer.
Nice, man. Everybody need a front.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I always wondered if the Outback, which place had the worst, like the seediest servers. I always thought it was Applebee's for a while.
Outback was pretty good with
That flaming onion, dude.
We used to they had some shady servers. This one bitch tried to sell me parsley. She thought I was green.
Is that for real?
For real. She tried to sell me parsley as
Well,
weed. I was like, are you serious?
You saw her chopping it up in
I
the
said,
back?
no, she just came up to me and was like, I got some weed in a cellophane. And I was like, I don't want that shit. I got my own weed if you want to buy weed. You know what I mean?
She was
I
like,
got
all
good
right,
shit.
it was actually parsley. Good shit.
Right, yeah.
And you're like, what?
Can't
You're terrible
trick
at
you.
this. Yeah, you're terrible at this.
You're not a good crook.
She just pulls out a box of Domino sugars like, I have cocaine. You're like, that's Domino sugar. She's like, all right.
I snort it.
You're
I
like,
snort
you're a smart guy.
So back in school, man.
But yeah, so I got expelled during GE testing week.
Did you ever do anything on stage in school?
Yeah, I was an actor. I was an actor for a long. I did theater.
Theater?
Yeah, theater. I started trying to do acting in New Orleans. Just some shit went down.
So that's the first time you ever stepped on stage was like theater stuff?
Theater. Yeah, that's why I've always been. The one biggest compliment I always got at the beginning of my comedy career was people were like, "You just seem so comfortable on stage." And it's because I've been joking and being funny on stage as an actor and as a theater actor. Like I went to college for it. Did it in college. I did some like professional plays, and I actually do love theater. There's like a part of me that when this kind of if comedy really starts rolling and I have time, I would go back to theater and like do
That's
theater.
cool. What was your favorite theater gig that you ever did or play?
Just a comedy, any comedy. I did a lot. I was probably always because I played college football, and if I would have focused on football, I'd probably had a much better time playing. But I was so focused on just being a funny idiot and doing like theater plays. So I would do that. Yeah, that was any comedies. I did some dramas, but those were always just with theater. It was always so fun for me. This is how shitty I am. I would put my other castmates in positions where we had to improv.
Okay.
And they were good and they understood. And if we were doing a play or a long enough run, they'd
force you motherfuckers.
No, it wasn't like a forced thing, but I would do things. I would intentionally try to make them laugh. Even if it was a comedy, I definitely did it. But even in dramas, I still did it. Yeah. And I just remember like in comedies, they don't get mad at you. Like, oh, I guess dramas are like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's killing. Yeah. The audience is loving it. They're like, yeah, but this is you're like you're a Nazi. You're not supposed to be the funny. And I'm like, oh, you're right. All right. Yeah, you're playing a serial like murderer. You can't. Yeah,
you can't be the funny guy.
Yeah. You're playing a divorcee. You got to be. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I got expelled because of GED test. They had it out for me at that school. I got expelled. I got suspended every other month probably for not shaving. And I would come,
Really?
Slidell High, a public school. Like,
Wow.
I guess John Eric couldn't wear hoodies, but that's a little racist, it sounds
Well,
like.
no, it was like people would click up. And when I was in high school, everybody had their own little cliques and people they would chill with.
Yeah.
So it was an iffy time back then. We didn't have cameras in John Eric and stuff. We were wild. Yeah. I understand.
No, yeah. And now it's like you need them more than ever.
Yeah.
Back then when you didn't really need them, they're like, boy, no more hoodies. Now they're like, just you guys have to come to school like in G-strings. You have to come,
I can't
clear
believe
backpacks.
The way the world's going, I can't believe they don't have like metal detectors.
That seems like the first. That seems, but then it becomes a whole process, like because kids bring laptops, and it's also how much of this do you want? I don't know. I don't want to. Like it just seems that's like a whole thing. Like metal detectors, like arm the teachers. I'm like, or just have like, I don't know, Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. We don't have
I
to
don't know
get
about
into it.
arm
Yeah.
the teachers. You
Yeah,
arm a teacher.
arm a teacher,
You
yeah.
pistol because I was the student. I would have
Arm a
got shot
teacher,
by a
yeah,
teacher.
Yeah, a substitute's for sure going on a rampage.
Yeah.
Maybe not a regular teacher, but a substitute will be like, motherfucker, I know where to keep the gun, dude. Yeah, all right, sorry. Damn.
Definitely.
Damn, Mr. Davidson.
Taking
Shit.
kids out
No
today.
chill. But I got expelled. Maybe I'll finish the story.
Okay.
I got expelled. I got suspended for not shaving. I got suspended once for sexual harassment because a girl I was seeing at the time, I hugged her in gym, and one of the gym teachers saw it and wrote me up for sexual harassment. The girl had to come to the principal's office and be like, we're fucking. Like she had to be like, we're fucking. I hugged her and grabbed her ass. We were fucking. Like we were dating.
You said you weren't good with girls in school.
This is my the only really one. I wasn't good with.
All you need is one. Bro.
I wasn't good with.
To be good with girls in school, all you need is one.
I mean, I was in. This was last year for me. She was 17. It was weird, but you gotta laugh at that, guys. I'm just kidding.
Alex.
So maybe they made sense because it actually wasn't. I didn't get suspended. I got arrested. No.
There you go.
Yeah. But so like that's the kind of shit. But because I was the class clown, I would do this thing in class that would now you think about it how fucking dumb it is. But I would do this thing where I would toss my friends fake food and we would eat it out loud. Like I'd be in the back of the room being like,
I love that.
Like
I
dumb
that.
shit like that.
I love that shit.
And I would also do but that was the one that really put me on the radar for these teachers. Because I would come into class, they'd be like, sit up front, you look front. Like I was like they were like, if I see you turn around, you're getting a detention.
You know what we used to do? We had something like that, but it wasn't food. We used to just go psst. I had a buddy on the other side of class, and I would go psst.
Oh, word.
And he would hit back with a psst, and the teacher would be like, "What the fuck? Where is that shit coming from?"
Do you remember turkey on your eyebrow? Where you just sell someone like this is the shit you think's funny when you're 15 or 16. You got turkey on your eyebrow.
Oh no.
And they go, what? You say it, but you say eyebrow loud. So you're like, you got a turkey on your eyebrow. And they're like, what? And they'll just grab it. You're like, stupid idiot, I'm going to grab a turkey on their eyebrow. I did it once to a new teacher.
You did it to a teacher?
I did it to a teacher, and she had a Sharpie in her hand. And she's like, what? And she wrote all down her face. And the whole class starts laughing. And she runs out crying. And in that moment, I remember looking around being like, oh, I'm dead, dude.
I would have been like, I'm a legend. That's just the fuck I am.
No, because I never, I don't do comedy to fucking hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, but still, you got her to Sharpie herself.
No. We all laughed.
Yeah.
But then because it was funny, but then she broke down crying and ran out of the room.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being like, oh, fuck. And then they came in, and that was like my sophomore year, and that's really when it started for me. Like, they started suspending me for not shaving. I would get detentions for, like, being in the hallway, and, like, if there was boisterous laughter and I was near it, I got detention.
I already know. I would have seen you. I'd be like, you're the problem. It's all you.
I could be at
Everybody
home.
else go away.
Dude, it was bad. Like,
you're the fall guy.
They were like, why aren't you beating the shit out of kid? I would rather you do that. So then the final straw for them was GE testing week. I knew I was going to get done early. And so I put a harmonica in my pocket.
Oh, shit.
And I asked to go to the bathroom. And he was like, sure, Mr. Gennardo. I remember his name. And he's like, sure, go. And as soon as I got in the hallway, in this quiet during GE testing, where it was like you couldn't leave the room. Everything was like turn, lock and key, secret. You couldn't stare at anybody. Some schools put up fucking
those little
cubicles.
folders.
Yeah.
Shit.
And so I just started, and I don't know how to play the harmonica, so it's just bad. It's just not. I'm just like just going to the hallway, and within seconds, it's like I'm tackled by like NFL security. These teachers come in the hallway and like rip it out my mouth. He threw it. Like I don't remember the teacher that threw it, but they grabbed it and they just threw it on the ground. And they grabbed me, dude. They grabbed me like I was a fucking school shooter. I was like, it's just on my. I was like, ah. And they fucking. I'm like, don't suffer my music. Music's in me. And then I really said some dumb shit like that. I did. And then they dragged me to the office. And I got fucking expelled. So then I got my GED. Well, how funny would it be if I was like, I also got my GED from Delgado.
That would be funny.
I got my GED, and I kept playing football like for this semi-pro team my senior year of high school.
A semi-pro team?
And
Where?
I got in Slidell. We had one. I can't even remember the fucking name.
Well,
they had one in New Orleans too, which is still here. The New Orleans Lightning. They're actually really fucking good. They win. They play at Tad Gormley. Oh no, they play at Pan American.
Okay.
But so I played for like those teams. I played for like 2 of those during my senior year while I was homeschooling and get my GED. And I got film. And then I did really good on my ACT.
Okay.
And then Mr. Osborne wrote me that letter of recommendation.
Nice.
And that's how I got into. That's how I got accepted to schools and was able to go play football.
Where'd you end up going?
So I was at Santa Monica College in LA.
Okay.
Then I almost went to UCLA as a walk-on, but they were like, "That's not a thing." Like, no.
You had it in your head. You played it. I'm going to
Well, I was because anybody can.
Yeah.
But like, there was like a thing when I was there. One of the recruiters was like, "Yeah, if you want to walk on, we'll pay for your school and books, but you have to pay room and board."
Okay.
And then he never got back to me. Like, it was legit like a thing he offered. So then I ended up going to the school in McPherson, Kansas, called McPherson. Finished out there, and then came home and started working in film. And then and then really the story jumps to.
How old were you when you came home?
24.
About 24.
24, because I did 5 years of college.
So when was the first time you did comedy?
The first time I did comedy was like 19. Like, this is the thing. People get
Where?
mad at me.
You remember it?
Yeah, it was Corey Mack show. Oh man, that's a great story.
It was Corey Mack show?
Corey Mack show in Hammond.
Okay.
And I just
shout out to Corey Mack.
Shout out to Corey Mack. Where's he at, dude? He's like just getting
He's everywhere. He's
Florida.
Florida.
He's in a beach now, dude. He just lives in Destin.
Yeah.
He just lives in Destin and like yells at white people on a microphone. It's,
Yeah.
it really
It's
is.
great.
Yeah. It's his favorite fucking job.
Yeah.
But no. So I started. I did it once when I was like 19, and then I didn't do it for like 4 years.
So you did it the first time at a Corey Mack. Where was it?
Oh yeah, it was at the Brown Door in Hammond.
In Hammond?
He used to run a show. Maybe it's the Brown Door, or there's another place out there that does shows. Fuck, I can't remember. Carrie B does a show there now, like once a month.
Yeah.
I think it is the Brown Door. But it was an open mic. He ran an open mic, but there wasn't a lot of comics in Hammond. There's only like 8 comics ever went up, so everybody
Right.
got like time. And I messaged him like a week before. I was like, "Hey, I'd love to try comedy. I'm gonna come to the show. I've been writing stuff." He's like, "Yeah, come on." Yeah, he's always so nice to new comics.
Yeah.
And I get there and I'm hammered. I'm drunk because I don't know how you know how you're supposed to act. I'm nervous. A girl that I was seeing. I know I said I didn't do good with girls. This is like the only 2 moments before I turned 20 that I was doing good with girls. Girl that I was seeing at the time, she came to the show, and I didn't know. She was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, I almost lied to her, but I was like, "I'm going to go do comedy." She's like, "I'm coming. I want to come see you." And that made me even more fucking nervous. So then I sit in the front row like an idiot.
First time, too?
It's first time. And you don't know that first time. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And this was before comedy. This was 11 years ago. This is before comedy was big. This is before we knew everyone knows so much about the process of comedy now.
Yeah.
That everybody, there's a real nervousness for new comics to get into it because they see and they understand what happens and they know what they're going up against. When you're a new comic 11 years ago, you have fucking no clue. I thought every time I saw a comic, they were just doing new material.
Right.
I didn't know there was such thing as an act. Like any of that shit.
Or repeating it.
Yeah, I was like a comedy nerd in the sense of I knew all the big comics. I loved them.
Yeah.
But I thought that thing they filmed was just, hey, I'm going to be at fucking
Yeah,
this play, and I'm filming it.
I didn't know that they did that shit 1,000 times.
Yeah. I
before
didn't know there was a
filmed
curated act they've been
Right.
doing for years. They've been doing stand-up for 15.
Right.
I thought you were just good at stand-up.
Right.
And you just did it every day, and it was just, you went on stage and were like, guess what? Bing, ba-ding. I just thought that's what it was. But I still wrote material. I wrote material.
That's good.
I had 4 minutes. I ended up doing 2.5. But the whole Greg Hamilton. I don't know if you ever met Greg Hamilton. He was that year. He was a month off being named Louisiana's funniest comic.
Oh yeah.
He was like one of the finalists to be on Last Comic Standing. Didn't make it.
No, I never met him.
That could be. He doesn't do it anymore. He'll pop up in Baton Rouge every once in a while. But truly one of the funniest people I've ever seen also in Louisiana. Like very, very. I mean, he won Louisiana's funniest person when some of the funniest people that we know now that are like some of our mentors were at the top of their game.
He was at that show?
Yeah, he was there. And I'm drunk. I'm being loud. I'm not heckling, but I'm just being loud in the front row. Me and this girl are making out in the front row during this fucking open
wow.
mic. And so Corey comes up to me. Corey comes up to me over my shoulder, like 4 comics in. I was supposed to be next. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna let you headline." And I'm like drunk. I'm like, "Yeah, you want to hear that?" Yeah, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, I'm a headline. Yeah, I'm a.
Oh no.
Not know what that means. I'm like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "Do 10," and I'm like, "Cool." I wrote some stuff, but I know comedy's just going up there and zinging and zip zap, zip zap, zip zap zop, fucking improv bullshit. Zip zap zoop zoop badoop. So I'm like, great, and then he did it on purpose. He put Greg Hamilton up right before me. Everybody was supposed to do 5 because this is an open mic, and Greg Hamilton did an hour of material on me, killing the entire time. I'm laughing because it's funny.
Yeah.
And also realizing like, okay, all right. But then he kind of gets into material, and he was so good. He would get into a joke and then somehow make it about me, and I was always the punchline. And I don't realize that this is awful. That what's happening is so bad.
Right.
So I finally.
Well, it's not bad on his side of the thing.
Knowing now, I would have gotten up and been like, "Oh, got it. I'll kill myself. Like, you want me to go outside and hang myself with an extension cord?"
Yeah.
So then I get called up and I get booed.
Did he know?
Yeah, Corey told him for sure, dude. Corey's like, roast this bitch. Like, Corey's like, this dude's new.
Yeah.
And he made fun of me making out with the girl, made fun of me being hammered. He asked how old I was. I was like, I'm 22. It's my fake ID. I was like, that idiot, you know? And so I go up, and I'm like, here it goes. It's your time to shine. And he's like, Alex Cureau. Or he got my name wrong. I think he just didn't say it right. On purpose, probably. Now that I'm thinking about it, my whole life has been like, oh, he just got it wrong. But I'm like, oh, no, dude, fucked with me again. Yeah, Corey, yeah. So I go up, and they boo. They're booing for like, and I'm like, what did I do? I still have zero clue what I did.
I mean, as soon as you go up, they boo?
Because they knew I was. The whole crowd had been watching me be a bitch and an asshole, and they've been watching me being this fuck of a person. They're booing. Why they are booing? The girl I'm with gets up and leaves, dude. Leaves. Bro, I still don't know what's happening. I don't know if she's leaving. I think she's just getting up because I'm like, this is kind of embarrassing now. Like, now I'm starting to feel embarrassment and shame and like I made the worst decision of my life. So... Are we good? Are we good back there? Are you scaring the shit out of me? I'm like, I feel like I'm just telling this wonderful story. We're not getting any of it. He's good. We just see sparks start flying. He's like, oh fuck! I knew I should have stayed a chef. Son of a bitch.
He's good in there. You just focus on me.
Focus on Pickles, man. I'll let you know if shit gets fucked up.
But yeah, so then I go up and I do my material, and I kind of get laughs.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of like, oh, all right, he's not bad. And then I'm like, I knew the light was coming because he was like, I'm going to give you a light. When do you want it? I was like, how much time? He's like, I'm going to let you do 10 because you're a headliner. I was like, when do you give it to me? He's like, I'll give it to you at 9. Okay. So I'm doing my act, and I get some laughs, and then I realize I'm out of material. So like, all right, cool, I'm probably close. So then I just start doing the zip, zip, doo.
Oh, shit.
And lose them and start bombing, awfully, eating shit. And I'm like, all right, that's my time. I get off stage. I was up there for 4.5 minutes. and that was the first time ever doing stand-up. Didn't do it again.
Longest 4.5 minutes of your life.
Didn't do it again for like 3 years.
Oh, man.
Then I did it a few times in L.A. because I was living in L.A.
Okay.
And then I didn't do it for like a year because then I moved to Kansas. And then I went and just did a competition. I got a wild hair.
What competition?
At Wichita, at the Looney Bin in Wichita.
Nice.
Because I was about 45 minutes. There's a competition. Anybody could sign up. So I signed up. And I took me and a bunch of teammates out there. I hadn't done stand-up in a year and a half. Took some of my old material, wrote it, did 5 minutes, timed it, because I was like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I went up, and I got 4th, I think. I think I got like 5th. I actually, out of like, it was like 12 comics. So I was like happy. So that gave me like a, but then I was never going to drive out there again. So I didn't do stand-up for like 3 years. And then I would do it, I came home, and I started working in film, and I would do it like once a month, every other month.
Here?
Yeah, and I was doing it like that once a month, every other month. And a lot of that old guard, none of the guys that we know now that we fuck with, but some of that old guard that's not around anymore were not nice. They were not welcoming. They were not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Red Bean's kind of a jerk sometimes, but he's like loving.
He's a mentor.
Yeah.
That's what
he very much will never make you feel unwelcome.
Yeah.
He will never make you feel like.
That's exactly the word I was thinking of.
What you're doing is wrong. I remember a lot of those old guard guys and girls, some of them are still like, wow. When I do this with my hands, some of them are, actually none of the ones that I'm talking about are still around. Which makes sense to me. Like, it's like, oh yeah, because you can't be that way. It's not sustainable. Because we're the ones that are coming up. Like, we're the ones that are going to be doing this stuff with you. Yeah. And so we're slowly going to have our own shows and build our own scene. Mm-hmm. And we won't forget.
Right.
And so that's kind of what happened to the ones I'm talking about. And so I didn't do it. I stopped doing it for like a year, and then I got a job where I was working for Jim Gaffigan.
Okay. Yeah, you told me about this. How,
And
was in the
this
film.
was literally this May. So
That was
we're
in the film industry, right?
film industry. So it's a movie called Troop Zero, which is on Amazon Prime. Go check it out.
Check it out.
Go check it out.
You got anything else you want to promote right now?
Yeah, we'll do it later.
All right.
We'll do. Actually, would you do ads? Do you do like stuff in the middle?
Not. I mean, I put up something for
July
my
15th, 16th,
sponsor.
17th. I know this has such a wide reach. I'll be in Phoenix with Matt Rife. I'm opening for Matt Rife, and then the next week, the 19th, 20th, and 22nd through the 22nd, I'll be at Laugh Factory Vegas with Matt Rife. So if this has a reach out there, come to those shows.
Go to the shows.
Also, Comedy House NOLA. When did this come out? Day one. Comedy House NOLA.
Like
where it
2
shows.
weeks.
Go to NOLA Comedy Scene .com on Instagram.
Support NOLA
Yes,
Comedy.
it's
New
NOLA
Orleans
Comedy. Do all that stuff. And back to your regularly scheduled programming.
With Alex
So I got
Cureau.
a job working for Gaffigan, and
And that's also, yeah, you told me about that. That just happened?
It wasn't no,
Like
it was-
recently?
No,
You
that
just
was
filmed it?
This May will be 4 years ago when that job ended.
Oh,
Which is when I started stand up
okay.
full go, going up every night. Which is why I say, because I hadn't done stand up in 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
I would go to shows and hang out. I was still friends with comics, but I hadn't done stand up for 2 years. Like threw away all my old notebooks. Like I think I always loved it, but I just threw away the notebooks. So if I ever get back into this, I want to do it completely from scratch. Like so, yeah, I started 4 years ago, brand new,
Yeah.
and then the pandemic happened. So really, it's only been 3.5. It's really
Yeah.
only been 3.5 years. So I feel pretty fortunate, but I've also worked my ass off for like kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, you definitely did.
For 3.5 years in. But anyway, so I got that job working for Gaffigan, and we hit it off. I almost killed him once on accident when I was pulling into a street, and it was on an incline, and the car sucked, and its tire spun, and we got stuck in the middle of this road, and this 18-wheeler comes screaming across.
Oh, no.
I just stuck it in reverse and slid us down the hill, and he kind of screamed like a bitch.
Don't worry, Gaffigan, I got it.
I was also screaming like a bitch. Because I wasn't like, it was like, I was like, oh! Like I did one of those, like, oh! Like, oh!
Like
Yeah,
18-wheelers
And I
coming
remember the only
at
reason
your
because
fucking
I had
ass.
to look back, and he's gripping the fucking oh shit handle, and he's
Yeah.
looking at me going, ah!
That's a good name
He's
for
like,
that handle.
Ah!
The oh shit
Yeah,
handle.
that's what it's called, yeah.
So you put all your tension in. I'm going to rip this bitch off.
And we had a moment where like we're both red, and I'm like, I almost just fucking killed Jim Gaffigan. I'm like, oh fuck. But then I would go to shows with him because I was his assistant on that show. It lasted like 8 weeks, so I was with him for 2.5 months actually, through prep too. Yeah, so I was with him for like eight weeks I think about. So yeah, 8 weeks. But he had shows. So
Yeah.
the first week I'm with him, we hadn't really hung out that much because I'm just assistant. I'm basically driving to the set, hanging out with him on set, making sure he needs anything, getting him where he needs to be, taking care of his schedule, that kind of stuff. But he's like, yeah, you want to go to Nashville with me? And we just hop on a private jet and fly to Nashville for show.
Fuck, yeah.
Dude, it was awesome. But the whole time we're on this thing, I'm in a private jet with Jim Gaffigan. Our feet are up, and we just start talking bits. And he's like, so do you do stand-up? And I was like, I kind of used to, and I tell him the whole story. And he's like, oh, man, you should try to get into it again. So we just kind of start talking bits. And I gave him help with bits, and we talked about his act and that kind of thing. And, like, then I finally...
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it was great. And we did that for 2 months. And then finally when
That's
I quit...
amazing, dude.
When I quit, he was like, do stand-up.
Yeah.
He's like, do stand-up. I don't want to... he's still a guy I can text if I have like questions or like
Yeah,
need
man.
advice. He's like, do stand-up. Go. Like,
That's
he's
awesome.
going to suck. It's got to be the only thing you give a shit about.
So Jim Gaffigan gave you that little extra oomph.
Yeah, when one of the greatest comics of all time says like, "Hey, I think you're funny. You should do stand up."
Yeah.
And also, it's been there. So then that literally, he took off to fly. I went right to whatever website was that at the time that we had in New Orleans, found a mic and went. And then from that point on, 4 years ago, literally mid-May is when he left. So if mid-May would be 4 years doing stand up like full time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just started doing every mic. You know how it is.
Yeah, you
And that
dude.
was-
You were definitely BC. That's before COVID. So
Yeah,
I
that's
would
fun.
go.
Before
I was
Dandy.
I was horrible, but I used to see you at the mics all the time. You know what I mean? And I would bomb everywhere I went. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
we
a lot of
still
people,
bomb.
we still do.
Yeah.
You know, but it's more of a structured bomb nowadays.
Yeah, because I'm trying new things. Yeah, I mean, also, but there's crowds we haven't been in front of.
Yeah.
Like I could go to these Phoenix shows and I don't know how Phoenix is.
Right, but
and
what
I could
I'm
do something and really start eating shit.
what I'm saying in our scene, like a lot of people wouldn't mess with me because of how bad I would bomb, how bad I was. You know what I mean? But you were one of the people who actually told me I would bullshit with you, and you'd be like, "Hey man, that's funny. Go say it on stage,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna have to." That's how you would put it to
Oh,
me.
I do. I tell it to people
or
all the
I'm
time.
gonna have to.
I'm like,
and
if
I
you
was
ever
like,
quit, I'm taking all your
"Look,
material.
You told me.
I tell people that all the time.
You told
I'm
me
like,
what-
quit.
We were talking about
I
weed.
want your jokes.
We were talking about weed plants or some shit like that. You were like, "Go say it now, or I'm gonna do it." I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this." And then, look, you
Yeah.
put it in. I was like, "I'm gonna go do this joke right now, whether it's funny or not, because that asshole ain't gonna take my joke, you know." But it gave me a little oomph. Yeah, but you were a nice person too. At the same time, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody.
Yeah, well, it's the
fucked
thing.
with
It's like
me.
the thing we took because when I started, I remembered who was not, and I remember
Yeah.
some of the advice that I got. Like also when I started listening like Joey Diaz, the great, all-powerful Joey Diaz.
Fuck yeah.
He just has a. I heard a quote that he said. He's like, "They'll never," you know. Like, I don't care. I'm not gonna do his voice, but he's like, "They'll never respect you where you start."
Yeah.
And there's a little truth to that in the sense of I think if you start there and you come back,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, you're not gonna the people. Yeah. The people that see you start,
Yeah.
like that have been doing it for years, are gonna be like, oh, no, like because which is crazy to me, because they all were there.
Right.
So that's why I'm never that. I mean, it would take a special person to be like, you can see some people like, oh, they're gonna quit. They're
Well-
not gonna. But then you see some people and you're like, it's also the hang. You were always
Yeah.
a fun, decent hang, like hanging out because everybody's awkward.
You're
at
a good
first.
person to hang with too,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's got a lot of truth to what you just said. Like they're not gonna respect you where they start because like we see each other's sets every fucking night, but that's also why I love New Orleans because we're like in the dark, like no one fucking really knows about New Orleans comedy scene until we bring it in. But I get to go to another state,
Yeah.
and see how good my material actually
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
and you get to rock that. Like when you hear those first out of state roars from a crowd, it makes you feel different about
Roars? You've heard roars? You've gotten
Like,
roars?
hell yeah, man.
What roars are you getting at the fucking at the goddamn
50 people in the crowd.
The Yuck Club. the Yuck It Up hosted by fucking.
No, really, dude. You go to fucking like.
No, I know what you're saying.
You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? You go to different rooms. These comics have different rooms, and you
And you
get
also
that-
realize they're easier. Like when you go to a room where people pay $20 and it's packed,
Yeah.
and they're there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's easier. You get those things, you go, oh, this is easy. Because it's like you go to an open mic where people are like eating fucking a steak at the bar, and you're like,
yeah.
you
Or
guys
just
fucking
drinking and playing the slot
You
game.
guys are like, they're gonna start putting gun stores next to elementary schools. And you're like, why the fuck am I bombing at this
Right.
at this Applebee's? Yeah. So it's when you start doing big shows, it's
Yeah.
fucking easy.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the reward. It's like, oh, that's right. This is why we work. So this is why we do this shit. It's not like this thing that clicks in your head. You're like, I think I know how to do stand up now.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, that's right. That's like, we did all the shit gigs, so I know how to handle a good gig. Like, one of my things, you used to do this, you don't do anymore, and I used to get mad at you. I don't know if you remember this, where you'd be like, fuck, it's packed in there. And you'd kind of be nervous. And I'd be like, yeah, dude, that's the fucking point. Like,
When I was younger?
I'm like,
When the shit-
it's like, we've been practicing. This is
Yeah.
the game. We get to go play the game now,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Like, that's always a weird one. Comics are like, fuck, it's packed in there.
No, I'm good
What
with
the
the.
fuck
I'm
you
good with the
mean?
crowd. Like,
Yeah, now if it's packed, I want it to be.
I want that. I
Yeah,
want them
dude.
there because I like talking to crowds.
I'm
now.
more nervous in front of 12 people in an open mic than I am at fucking 1,600 people at the Orpheum Theater. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
because the open mic, you're like, I'm going to try these new jokes. These people have no idea who I am. They've seen kind of shitty comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Opening at the. Let's talk about that for
Hold
a
on,
second.
we were talking about something. What were we talking about? How do we get on this tangent? We were talking about like
comedy in
the
New
only
Orleans.
respect you where you start thing. I think that only
Oh, yeah.
applies to smaller scenes like this. Like
Okay.
New York, that's different because New York, like it's New York.
It's
L.A.
fucking-
it's a little
yeah.
different. They'll like if you start there and make it through the ranks, they respect you. I think harder. 'Cause
Yeah.
those places are so hard. But so Diaz, when he was talking to a comic that started somewhere else, and Diaz started, I think, in Jersey. I don't remember, but.
He started in Boulder.
It was the preface, Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so that makes sense then what he's saying. Yeah, wow. He
I love Joey Diaz.
Yeah. Wow, I would never guess that. So that I preface it with that is when he says they'll never. He means smaller scenes.
Yeah.
'Cause- And like we talked about that power dynamic, I remembered. That's what we're talking about. I remembered how I was treated even though I was just trying to do comedy.
Yeah.
I knew I had I knew I didn't want to go up and do the fucking jokes that I was hearing because I hated it and it was just safe.
Right.
And it was just like Bywater
Right.
humor. And I was like, I don't want to be a Bywater. I don't want to be a New Orleans comic. I want to be a fucking stand-up. I want to do jokes that make me laugh, that people see that I like, give a shit about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just go for a chuckle. I don't want to just go for like, oh, he gets it. I want it to fucking
that room to hit.
Yeah, I want it to be a stand-up. So I was from the start doing like jokes that I had no business doing.
Yeah.
And I just remember how people treated me, and I was like, okay, I'll never be that.
Right.
I will. I'm always very. Here's the thing is, I'm also very. Some people get like Ryan will get mad at me a lot when Ryan tries to talk to me about like comedy.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, shut up. Like I'll tell Ryan stuff like Ryan Rogers. Shout out to Ryan Rogers.
What's up, Ryan?
Shout out to Ryan Rogers.
My boy, Ryan
Go check out
Rogers.
his special on YouTube. Right, he's got a special on YouTube.
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but I think
I wouldn't call it special, but he's got something on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
I don't know where it is. It's probably on some gay network. I don't know. Check it out on Grindr. Yeah.
He does have it out there for you to view.
It's called Spreading the Word. What is it called?
I don't remember.
Fuck, we're so bad.
Sorry
at this.
about that.
But go Google Ryan Rogers.
Man, I was in the room when he taped it too. It was great. It was very
good.
funny, bro.
That's good.
Ryan, go check out Ryan.
But yeah, like certain comics will ask me for advice, or I'm like, also, I've been doing this 3-4 years. Like, I've been around big comics and I've done like, enough shit. But there's comics in town that know way more than me. Like, know way more than any of us.
Yeah.
And it's also like every comic's different. The only thing I can tell you is, every time you get on stage is like, just in your head, be like, have fun and get better. Because if you're doing those things, you won't be in your brain. You're just trying to have fun. Because if you're having fun, they're having fun. And if you're trying to get better, it means you're taking the risk or you're doing the new jokes.
Yeah, this year I've actually taken a hold of that a lot. That have fun aspect. Now that I have material, I know how to go up there, have fun, and be able to work in material and make it look organic. White cloths.
Yeah.
And that's the main. I think that's the main thing. Was when we get to a point where everything we do it looks organic and where it shows. You know what I mean? It shows that you've gotten on stage every night for the last 3-4 years. Yeah. You ever seen Punchline? Tom Hanks.
Oh no.
That's one of my favorite lines in there. Like he talks about he's talking to another comic and he's like, this is what I got is from getting on stage every night for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's true. Just you gotta grind it. You can't do it once a week. And think you're gonna get to that point. And if you do, then
that's why,
good luck to you. More power to you.
I wish we had more here, because if we had 2 shows a night, even 2 quality mics a night, I would stay here.
We getting certain places.
Stay in
we got 2 on Monday now. I know you moved to Baton Rouge.
Monday.
We got 2 on Monday.
No, I'm in Austin now.
You're in you're in Austin fully now?
Yeah. Well, I will be in a month, but I'm back and forth.
Okay.
A month and a half. But wait, no, I thought.
Goss is not no more. We got New York Pizza and we got
that's right.
Grits Bar. Grits Bar is a new one.
Grits Bar. It's got a mic.
Grits Bars. It's not like traditional. We just kind of go there after
this is
New York
inside
Pizza.
baseball. I feel like this is too inside baseball.
It kind of is. But we got mics, dog. I'll talk to you about the mics afterwards. If you ever want to come to New Orleans and hit the scene and come hang, no problems. We like comics from out of town. But I wanted to ask you also about
especially if you run good shows.
Yeah. Come talk to us.
Come holler.
Come holler.
Do you have connections? So do we.
Yeah, we do. we got a club now.
Yeah.
So shout out to Comedy House. So what is it like? Alex has been doing a lot of big things. Like I mentioned, you got to open for the Sugar Bowl.
I didn't open for the Sugar Bowl. I just did
not
comedy.
open. You did comedy for the people.
For the teams.
Both the teams, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The first one sucked.
Sucked.
I did Ole Miss.
It's still that's a monster gig to get within.
It's a monster
your
gig in the
first
sense of
4
the
years.
money.
Yeah.
Like those corporate gigs are stupid. So Gaffigan was one of the guys I texted when they reached out. They saw me at Comedy House New Orleans.
Yeah.
And the lady reached out. I was like, "Hey, I booked the talent for the Sugar Bowl. I'd love to have you come and do some time before we have our big act. 'Cause they
Right.
usually have a bigger comic or they'll have a music act. They had a magician this year, so I was opening for magicians. So yeah, guys, this business is so rewarding.
You're not the headliner. The magician's the headliner.
But I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I knew corporate gigs paid well. So I was like, she's like, just send me your rate. Like, whatever they say, send me your rate. And then she sent another separate text that said, and don't forget who our sponsors are. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this.
Don't say numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a ridiculous amount of money. Like, legitimately, like, kind of like a ridiculous amount of money for both. I didn't get paid all together. I got paid for each.
Right.
And so Gaffigan was one of the guys I called him. And I was like, hey, I just have a question about this. This is the thing. He was like, start here and let him work you down.
Yeah.
Or start there and be like, I'm not taking it unless it's that. Because
that's amazing.
If they reach out to you directly, they haven't seen any other comics. She sounds like she was really on board, get me on. He's like, start there. And if she's like, I don't know if we can do that, be like, this is where I'm at.
Right.
And so I did that. She was like, absolutely not. And I was like, that's good because I was way higher than I really wanted.
Yeah.
And so then I said what I really wanted. She was like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. And then she came back and was like, and I was like, are you like it really felt like I was like like getting punked. I shouldn't say punked, but I was like
unreal kind of circumstance.
She's like, we only needed you to do 15. And it was 3 months away, so I just wrote jokes. Dude, I did 5 minutes of my material. I just wrote jokes. So I get to the Ole Miss one, and they're still eating. I get there, and they're shuffling in right off the fucking bus. They don't know what's happening. Somebody goes up there and is like, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming, Ole Miss. Hey, congrats on making the Sugar Bowl. We have a comic for you guys. Like a clown at a child's party.
He's got a special treat, fellas.
But she's so sweet. Leslie's her name. She's
Shout out Leslie.
She's really great. I actually need to message her and be like, let me know anything else because she has other events coming up. She's like, I'll call you. And she's in the room for this one, and she's like, you're gonna do great. I was like, I didn't say it, but in my mind I'm like, no, I'm not. I know comedy. They don't know. It's in this. We were in this like kind of warehouse, this barbecue restaurant. There's a buffet literally right next to me. I'm on this stage that's like 8 feet fucking tall. I have a mic that's one of those shitty mic stands. There's one speaker behind me, like directly behind me. They are all eating. They're fucking football players.
That's how it sounded probably.
Right after practice, and I had jokes written for them. And I was like, all right, maybe just get straight into those. So I go on stage, and this is what I talk about bombing. Like, if I've been doing this longer, and now that I've been in that situation, next time something like that happens, I'll know better.
Right.
I'll know better now. But I went up and just started, like, saying jokes. And they were like, so then I started roasting some of the players. One guy looked just like Zion. I was like, holy shit, Zion's here.
Yeah.
And I was like, you did get fat. And that got a big pop.
Yeah.
And then I got back into the jokes I wrote about some of the players. And it went well. But then they, like, very quickly didn't give a shit. Like, I was kind of killing, but they very quickly were like, all right, we're just here to talk to our, you could tell they're like, we're here to talk to our friends. Like, we just got to practice.
They're young as fuck.
We're eating.
No attention span.
Yeah. When I stopped roasting them, they stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
And so I remember being like, I think I was 9 minutes in, and I was like, all right, guys, look, y'all have been great. Thank you so much. That's my time. So I get off stage. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What happened? That was not very good. Like, she's like being real with me. And I'm like, yeah, I should have told you this was not, we should have waited. And she's like, I know, but we got to rush you to Baylor. I was like, well, what's Baylor? Like, Baylor is about to get done eating. I was like, oh, that's perfect. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we drive to Baylor. I get right on stage. The magician was on stage.
Oh,
so
shit.
I made fun of him for a few minutes. They loved that.
Yeah.
And then I think I ended up doing like 20.
Okay.
I did all the jokes I had for them. I made fun of the coach. And that was so much fun. And as soon as I got off stage, all the people from the Sugar Bowl that like helped book her or like weren't sure about booking a comic were like, holy shit, that was like old white dudes like, shit, player. They're like, God damn, boy. And I'm like, yeah, bro, shit. And they just handed me my check. And I'm like, y'all were for real. And then I left, and then a bunch of players came up to me. Dave Aranda, the head coach. Came up, and I made fun of him. He didn't shake my hand like this. He put it in my. He was like, "Good shit, man." I was like, "Thank you, Dave." But then he actually hugged me. He was like, "No, that was really funny. Thank you so much." Because I made a joke because he used to coach at LSU. Yeah. So I made a joke about that, and he was like, thanks for supporting me at LSU. And we just had like a quick little talk, and then I just went home. No, actually, I went to Comedy House. I showed Comedy House right after.
Yeah. That's
and,
awesome.
And then I went
dude.
made $20.
I think I saw you. I remember that night. I think I saw you at Comedy House. I think I had a show.
So yeah, that one was cool. That one I would do. I mean, that one made. Yeah, yeah, dude. It really was like a thing where like, I should have moved to Austin then.
Yeah.
Like that's like
No, you were doing a
half
lot
the
of
money
good
I have
stuff.
saved up to go to Austin is from that.
How many places did you go during the pandemic?
I mean, your show was the only one really, right? What are you talking about?
Like,
out
I
or
mean,
shows?
out states.
Oh, I went on a big road trip.
Yeah, how many states?
I
have
also
you-
went through a terrible breakup
'Cause
right
you're-
at the beginning of the pandemic. So I wanted nothing to do with anybody.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything. It finally took a buddy of mine from LA coming out to New Orleans, and we went out and we like had fun. We went and got drinks. It was just when I shouldn't say things were opening up, but like social distance, mask on, temperature
Yeah.
at the door, show us your status or whatever. Well, no, not even vaccine status. It was just, and he was like, "Fuck it, let's go on a road trip." So we did like a 30-state road trip.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it took us like a
Fire.
month. It was awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know you used to disappear for a while. Was that before the gossip mic or after?
I was way before. That was like June of 2020. I was like July of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was a little later than that because it was snowing when we got.
So you did comedy in most of those states?
No, there's nothing going on.
All right.
And also, comedy was not in my mind because I hadn't done it in like 4 months, and I was in a bad shape. I was
Yeah.
I was in a fucked headspace.
I know what you mean, bro. I went through
yeah.
depression last year about fucking
It
relationship
wasn't even.
bullshit.
It wasn't even.
Mine was depression. I put on fucking weight and everything, and I'm doing better now. I'm like actually working out every day and shit.
It's good, man. It's good.
You know?
So this podcast is about you now.
No, I'm just talking. I mean, you can get to know me a little bit too.
I'm
You can
kidding.
talk.
I'm
You
kidding.
egomaniac.
Yeah. Boy, I bet the listeners love when you do that.
That's the first time I've ever done it. I don't know why.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking with you.
Like, there we go.
I love you.
Okay, I love you too.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Why do they call you Grimace?
Just a nickname.
Oh, word. Okay, so there's a story there.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. All right, go ahead. But yeah, no, we talked about it. We talked about your relationship thing.
Yeah.
And relationships are kind of like comedy. I don't like to give people relationships because they're all different.
Right.
So when I hear somebody going through some shit, I just go, I can see it, and it's like this thing. People kept asking me about it, and I would tell them kind of what happened. But it was the main thing I kept telling people was something I would not wish on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And I could tell that you were going through like a similar.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It really does fucking suck.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we both got through that shit, baby.
Totally, I'm doing great.
You doing great, dude. You opened for Andrew Shultz. Andrew Schultz. That was last year at the end
Andrew
of the year.
Schultz was 2 months.
2 months ago? It was the beginning of the year.
March. Wow, you're not good with dates.
No, I mean I got my own dates, dude. I got my own dates. Got my own dates.
It's 2
don't
months
worry
ago.
about
Oh, it was 2020. Got it.
it. It was 2 months ago. So no, this year's been moving fast for you. Then that's what's up. So,
Yeah. And
how'd you get the booking with Andrew Schultz?
I owe Matt Owens that. Shout out Matt Owens.
Hey,
He's the
what's up,
first
Matt?
guy that ever gave me the chance to go on the road. Matt Owens.
Nice.
I guess that's the people we need to talk about. Matt's
great.
Matt Owens and Red Bean
Yeah.
are the godfathers almost of comedy. Like
In
Zambon's
New
up there.
Orleans.
Zambon's
Yeah,
doing his
Zambon.
thing. But like guys that are consistently running shows and putting people on and putting people up and being like good and cordial and quaint about it. But Matt Owens was the first person to ever give me a shot, like legitimately.
Yeah.
Red Bean's the first person to give me real stage time and not like hound me about my act, but like actually talk with me about
Help
it.
you with it.
But Matt Owens used to run shows at the Joy. Do you ever remember those?
I heard him.
Yeah.
I never went to
Well,
him.
you've only been doing comedy, what, 2 years now?
A little over 3.
Okay. So yeah,
Like
they were
3.
just ending. But Shultz at the Joy 2 years ago.
Okay.
So actually right before the pandemic. It was like January. Shultz was at, maybe it was right before the pandemic. So 2020, January, or maybe even December. But he was at the Joy, and I had loved Shultz. This is before, like, nobody knew who he was. Like, he was big on Flagrant. He was selling out theaters. Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say he was selling out theaters, but he was selling out clubs.
Yeah.
He was a big comic. He was successful, had a very big following.
Oh, he did.
Even at that point. So I went and saw him, and Matt was like, do you want to go backstage and say hey? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Of course I did.
Right.
So I went backstage, met him. We hung out. We shot the shit. I met Mark. I met Alex. But me and Andrew just kept in touch. Like it was a thing where like
That's cool.
I followed him, he followed me back, and then I would just like write him shit like about like something funny he posted. We would just go back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe once every other few months, nothing like huge, but we were friendly.
Yeah.
And then he posted his dates for the Infamous tour, and I saw he was coming to New Orleans, so I just messaged him like, "Oh, don't get my tickets right now. Can't wait to see you again. Let me know if y'all want to go. Like I'll show you around." And he's like, "No, dude, you're doing a spot."
That's fine.
Just like that. Never seen me do stand up. I think he needed me to help sell tickets, which I don't sell tickets. but I did help put the word out. I think I actually sold myself.
Keep
I think
grinding like you are.
I think
you
I
will.
sold. I think I was responsible for at least 60 tickets sold.
That's good.
In the sense, like people that I know that like messaged me like, "Oh, I'm coming to the show to see you."
Yeah.
Shit, I had no idea he was in town. I'm buying tickets because I was posting it.
Dude,
and shit.
I would have been at the show. I had a headlining spot out of town that night.
No, totally, man. It's cool.
And I love,
cool.
I
No, totally.
fucking,
No, dude,
I
it's
hate
totally-
that I
it's
missed
cool, man.
fucking, you recently opened for Rich Voss too.
Yeah, well, we are bouncing around.
Oh, we been on.
We are bouncing around, baby.
I mean, is that a bouncing? Because I was going to say I wanted to be there for that too, but
The
I was
Shaw
also,
show, yeah.
I was also doing another out of town.
The Voss one was Voss was another New York legend.
Yeah.
I'm getting. I hate to. I've never used the word lucky. I'm just.
You're a grinder, dude.
I just also. I asked you. It's okay to ask.
It's
People
okay
don't
to
get
ask.
It's okay to ask.
And it's okay to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I
also.
saw Owens was opening for him. I was like, "Do you need to host?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we do." And then I did that show, and Voss was like, "Do you want to come to Lafayette with us?" Or no, I think Owens was like, "I'll see if JP wants to put you on Lafayette." And then JP was like, "I'll ask Voss." And Voss was like, "Yeah." So then I went and did the Lafayette shows. Like it was great. It's great.
How was the one in Holland Wolf?
It's fine.
Because
It was last minute. It was, it was. They put up a bunch of other comics up, and so just by the time Rich got on stage, the show had been going on like an hour.
Yeah, they.
And,
I was gonna do. They actually got asked to do 5 minutes before the show, but
No shit.
I was headlining in Mississippi that night.
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
You got to turn that head. You got to stop doing that.
You think?
Like legit, yeah. Because you would have come and hung with me and like
Yeah.
the shows. Like that's the thing is like that's the point. So this is a thing I say so often. Those are the
Well,
investments.
my thing is like I got booked for this before
Yeah.
that came around, and what do I do? Be like, yo, I can't come do that shit now.
I think if you called somebody who's like, Rich Voss is asking me to do a show, they're gonna be like, yeah, see
well,
ya.
Rich Voss didn't. A buddy of mine.
They don't know that.
Right. That's true.
They don't. I mean, they do now.
Yeah.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Nah, it's all right, But I felt like I can't just fucking like
No, I
say
know,
no.
I know.
I was
know.
booked for 2 months and I just don't show up. That would be fucked
Well,
up.
you message them. You let them know. You go, hey, look, I got to let you know.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money did you make to do the Mississippi show?
$50.
Yeah. You would have made 30.
Plus food.
Yeah, you would have made 25 to do the Voss show, but you did 5 minutes, and you would have met and hung and been in a green room with a New York comedy legend.
True.
And you wouldn't have to drive to fucking Mississippi.
I like going on the road and driving, dude. I really do.
No,
It's
sure,
fun.
but I know, but it's Mississippi.
But yeah.
Yeah. But I just, so this is the thing that I would, if I could tell you anything, is like,
But if I'd have
things,
done that 5 minutes, he'd have probably asked me to come do the rest of the shows instead of you,
No, he probably would have, yeah, no, he actually probably would have been like, wow, do you want my paycheck? You're so good.
Yeah.
Man. Dude, so Morgan, I tried to introduce, Morgan Dantown.
Oh yeah.
He came to the show.
We just had him in the studio.
Okay, I came to, I was like, I'm going to introduce you to Rich. Dude, he fucking, I'm like, hey, so me and Rich are talking after the show, and Morgan walks up. I'm like, oh, hey, Rich, this is another comic from New Orleans. I can't even get his name out. And Rich goes, and just brushes right by Morgan. Like, bumps him even kind of, and he did it on purpose. Like, he even asked me later, he's like, he knows I was just being funny, right? I was like, I think so. Yeah. But dude, yeah, it just, and Morgan just like devastated.
Yeah.
It just,
Little Morgan.
Morgan just like, I have AIDS,
Little thin Morgan.
Little thin, fucking that cute little twink. Yeah, man, but no, it was great. But yeah, I would say, I mean, the show, no, definitely do the headlining gig wherever else, because you would have just got to hang with. Like, I don't even know if you would have come and hang, but like,
I would.
Certain shows, there are
I would.
times. No, I'm saying I just don't know. I would have not wanted to bring that many people.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, for the Shultz one, you had everybody and they fucking grandma like, Alex, what's up?
Dude,
You know?
everybody was trying to message me, and I'm like, guys, I don't know what you want me to do.
I already
Fill
knew.
this bar with comics that want to just, like Marcus was there, Matt hung for a bit.
I already knew Marcus and Matt Owens. That's your two go-to.
Yeah.
Because you know that's your fucking Marcus is your fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Marcus,
I want to get you in here.
Marcus is the funniest person we know.
Yeah,
He absolutely
I want to
is.
get you in here with Marcus for a four-person one day also, because you'd be a good pair with him, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only thing that could convince me to stay in New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's the only thing. He's the only person that could convince me to stay in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But you're gonna actually. I feel like
No, it's not going to happen. That's what
you're
I'm saying.
going. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing. You know, moving to Austin, bro. It's nice to have people that I know in Austin as well. For when I go out there, I can be like, "What's up, dude? What we doing tonight?"
I got to find a space like this. I do, man. Like, this is fucking stellar.
I've sat down with some of those Austin comics, like Dean and stuff. Shout out Dean, and like they're on board with doing podcasts and like doing that stuff. And
They have one right now. It's so bad. No, they have one. It's funny. They're also just such. Dean is like, just such a. I call him a goober. He's such a goofball and he's funny. And he's just such a likable guy.
Yeah.
And he's so fun to be around. And then Spencer's so dark and twisted and kind of a fucking weirdo. And so it's just fun watching them together. Yeah.
What's up, Spencer and Dean? And they got a lot of good comics in Austin, bro. And that's the place to be. Like, being seasoned, like, I can go step in there and, like you said, not wait around like a bunch of people trying to get stage time. You know what I mean? Because once those guys see you and they see that you're very good on stage, they want to put you up.
What's funny is it's still, yeah, I mean, some of them are, it is still very saturated. So there's days when I go out there, I'm like, hey, can I jump on a show? They're like, no. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I don't get mad. I go, I get it. Yeah, who the fuck am I?
Right.
Like, I know I'm your friend and we've hung out and you've let me do it before, but it doesn't mean I get to do it. So
Right.
it's going to be a thing. Yeah, it's still going to be like an uphill battle.
Oh,
But it
definitely.
will be an easier uphill battle. And I have so much already in my arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there.
I mean, you being out there, they could just hit you up and be like, come do the show now.
Yeah, and I'm going to just be there. I'm not moving there for anything else. It's not
Right.
like I have nothing there. I'm sacrificing everything and going.
Yeah.
And it's not because, Rogan told us to. It's not. It's just because it is real stage time, 3 to 4 times a night in front of real audiences, and it's cheaper than New York or LA.
Right. Right.
So and I have a lot of friends. If I had this many friends, if I had the same amount of friends I have in Austin that I have in New York,
You know what?
even without the connections, I would probably go to New York.
Those Austin comics, they're fun, dude. They are
Good time.
fun. I've hung out with a lot of them, and they are a good time. And that's what, like you mentioned, at the hang is a lot. You have to be funny now. You can't just be fucking, going in there and saying shit jokes and being like, all right, y'all, let's go hang out all the time. No, get your funny on, dude. But once you're funny, like, you're definitely accepted in Austin because they're getting it from everywhere. They're getting all of America going to Austin right now.
Yeah.
And it's good that we don't have, like, our pool is kind of deep in New Orleans, but not, I mean, we're at least 100 and something people deep in New Orleans for
Comics?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
You don't think, dude? I mean,
We might have 10 good comics.
I didn't say,
Maybe.
I didn't say
we
ready.
might have 30 active.
I didn't say, yeah, that's true.
Legit. 30
Like,
active.
Features,
and we might
legit
have,
features.
We might have 5 legit features.
Yes,
We have
that's
3
true.
legit headliners.
That's true.
All right. We have
I'd
5
give you
legit
that.
headliners.
If you want to break it down.
We have 5 legit headliners. We have 10 legit features. And then we have 20 people getting there. I'm never going to make fun of somebody starting comedy.
Right.
But it's just we don't have enough shows and we don't have enough supportive people. Like,
That's true.
I almost quit when I started because everyone sucked, dude.
And I'm trying to
people treated me so poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
so-
and they had like a stronghold on the scene too.
It's not even
But-
that. Like, you could still go do the shows.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to do something when you're not good at it and no one makes you feel welcome anyway.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's. I mean, that's anywhere you start. But it was especially true here because it's so small.
Yeah.
If it was anywhere else, you could still find.
But that's also why we're getting better.
Because I started with nobody. Nobody started when I started. Like,
Right.
A new comic starts here every 3 months. So I was just the new guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't like,
That's
and
true.
you can go to New York, you can go to Austin, and you're like, when'd you start? Like, I started a month ago. And you kind of bond over that. And you're like, oh, all
Yeah.
right. You come up together. I started with nobody, dude. Like, who did you start with?
Me, I was by myself. You know
Like,
what I mean? Yeah.
Who was doing comedy the same time you started doing comedy?
Started doing
Like
with
who
me?
started in the same period as you?
The fuck, they're not around. I
No,
don't
but I
think.
mean, like, did
In
you
the
have
same
anybody
period?
to like talk to about this?
No, I'll talk to James Jermaine most of the time.
But James Jermaine's been doing it for fucking 40 years.
40.
He hasn't been that long.
I would just, all right. I would just smoke weed with them. You know, certain
Yeah,
people. I would
yeah,
just, I would get them because I would bring joints and I would pick people's brains and stuff. But no one I really started. You know who started at the same time around was Masterpiece Jones.
Daniel.
I think that he started around the same time
I
as
saw
me.
you had him on here. That was a good episode.
Yeah, thank you. He's amazing, dude. He's so fun, and he's a funny guy. You know, he's a funny guy. You know,
Fun, funny guy.
funny
Funny,
guy,
funny.
like you. You know, you're good hang. And I appreciate you coming to hang out on Pickles' house today, man.
Hey, this was fun, dude. It was.
Yeah.
I had way more fun than I thought I would.
You got anything you want to put out there in the world? Do all your promoting.
Just follow me on Instagram. I'm still nobody. We're still nobodies.
Yeah, well.
I have shows coming up, but like they're all the way in Phoenix and Vegas on the West Coast. So you could check my Instagram. It's at Alex Cureau. Twitter's it's Alex Cureau, ALEXCUREAU. Follow this man. Give him a come
Come to comedy in New Orleans. Support comedy in New Orleans.
Subscribe to the damn because what are we doing here if you don't subscribe?
That's
and
right.
You listen and you fucking you comment on the videos and you tell people. You come to my house and you get my wife's name right. That's
Bitch, get it right. Now, please do subscribe, like, go follow Alex, you guys. Follow me at Pickle House 504. And follow Grimtown, too, you know. Follow Grimtown.
Really great space, man. Thank you so much. This is
Appreciate
awesome,
you,
dude.
man. And thank you, man. I appreciate you for coming in.
Yes.
Awesome. Always a good time. Finger love, more finger love. I love Alex.
This is cool, man. We had a good time. For
Yeah,
real.
man.
I
Appreciate
was kidding
you.
when I said I had way more fun than I thought I would. I knew I was going to have a good time.
Yeah, we're going to
Just
get
want
you
you-
back in here, you know.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. Let me know if you start sucking, dude. I'll take this shit over. Thank you for real.
You know
This was
me.
fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, dog.
Yeah,
Appreciate
bud.
you, man. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for tuning in to Pickles House.
Woo! It's hot. It's hot up in this bitch.